All right. Hello. So, thank you for joining me. My name is Jason Levine. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for coming to my channel. So I thought that, at least for the moment, for a little while, I was going to work on some audio mixes and things in Adobe Audition. I've been prepping content for tomorrow's Premiere Pro Facebook live stream on slow motion and time remapping. And yesterday did one on the After Effects Facebook page based around green screen keying and using key light and some of the presets there. Working on a lot of video and I've kind of neglected audio for a bit. So I thought I thought I'd maybe do some of that. So yeah, so let's do that. All right. So in any case, I've got up my session here. This is this latest collaboration album that I'm working on with my buddy Fred Fung, whom I've mentioned and talked about many, many times. And he and I, what's up, Sean? He and I have done dozens of recordings together, probably hundreds. And Krolwut, or Krolwut, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And as I was saying, so this album was supposed to have come out in December, and and you can see, like, I even mastered the recordings. Everything was kind of done, but there were some things that needed overdubs and stuff. So I don't know. I just couldn't get in the zone to get it out. The album artwork is done. Like, all these other things are done. The mixes and stuff, I don't know. I think some tracks needed more. So for those of you here, if you feel like chatting and chiming in, like, some of these things I think need more overdubs, or maybe they just need editing. And I'll go back to the tracks here and maybe just kind of edit them as they are. And I may have to put headphones on, I realize. So, but in the short term, I wanted to take a listen. So, like, a couple of these, like, are entirely done. And this one, for instance, this, which is called 21. What's up, Cedric? How are you? This one is done. I just did a music video for this one a week or two ago here on YouTube, and this is finished. And something I was going to point out too, with this record, everything is being mixed pretty damn hot. Now, curiously, the loudness, the ITU loudness for this is only around -10 LUFS, which is loud, not as hot, actually, as I probably would have liked it. But when you actually look at the maximum RMS, so sort of the maximum average of total loudness. What's up, Chuck? Space Monkey. Hey, Alyssa. Great to see you. It's at like -2, which, -3. So that's pretty freaking loud. And you can just see, just looking at the waveform, it's not a complete brick. There's actually some dynamics a little bit. This is basically just loudness. But, I think I was saying the last time any of you joined me, I've had it trying to preserve dynamics. No one cares. And I don't even care anymore. I just, make it loud, make it in your face, and make you feel it. You can still feel it without dynamics. I think it feels better with some dynamics, but, whatever, man. You just gotta play to the crowd, And this is like trancey background music, so it should be hot. And these mixes are hot. Now, having said that, what's up, Gara Games? If you take a look at like this, look at that. That looks like if I were in audio school. And what's up? That's right. Oh, that's excellent. Hey, I hope you can learn something. Yeah, I'll be kind of a little bit of teaching, a little bit of just kind of playing around. But like this one, if I were talking about audio mastering, and I pulled this up without even listening, I would go, well, this could just be like a sine wave generating tone. It's just such a block. Gotta feel it, Evil Cerise. Nice. So, hey, thank you, Finger Daddo. Hey, glad to hear that you're learning a lot. That's awesome, man. Thank you. So, like this one, contrasting the other one, take a look here. Average loudness, -4. What the farg? I mean, that is like, it's crazy. You can see, you don't even have to know anything. You just know that this is going to be freaking loud. And then the max RMS on this. Now, again, this is where you have to kind of understand sort of how these are averages, right? But the average max loudness on this one is like -2. The other one was -3. Now that isn't such you don't really perceive a difference unless it's more than 1.5 dB. That's something to keep in mind when you're either normalizing or, again, talking about kind of limiting and trying to get the most out of everything. What's up, Diogo? But this, again, the program loudness, and this is the thing that we really deal with today. Whoops, sorry, I'm zooming so you guys can see the whole thing right here. Hold on, there you go. If I were to go like to, again, broadcast TV, you know, -4 LUFS is like, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't even have polarity, right? So, but you can take a listen. Now this is going to be loud, so if you're in headphones, just keep in mind you're hearing this full program, full loudness here. So just brace yourself, but take a quick listen to this one. Yeah, now you see like a song like this, which runs, how long is this? Why am I seeing? Oh, this is showing me the absolute time in the from the multitrack. I'm going, what is this? What is 25 minutes? It's you can synchronize the time scales between multitrack and the waveform view if you desire. I have that turned on by design because again, this exists here in the timeline. What I was getting at though is something like this. This actual song is it's 4 minutes. You see it there? It's 3:59. So this could probably do with a little cannon fire. This could probably do with a little bit of editing. You know, these were played live performances. The album is called This Is Live Music. So maybe just some careful editing here. So but that one is basically done too. Like I'm not overdubbing anymore on that. That's just going to be an edit. Some of them, however, that I wanted to get your feedback on, and maybe we can listen together and I'll do a little bit of mixing. I guess I'm going to have to put headphones on. Otherwise, you're going to hear fold back into the mic, and that's going to suck. And all right, let's not do that. Just going to grab my cans. That is not offensive. And let's see what we got here. Hold on, I'm going to mute my speakers. So this was one that I wanted to start with. Now, curiously, this track here, this is called Fête Master de Femme. This was actually the first of this whole series of tracks. This was the first one that I overdubbed live when Fred and I decided to do this collab. So let's take a quick listen to this. And yes, Cedric, you are correct. And I always forget for Europe and the US, -23, -24. Yeah, so for television, this would not fly. Now, that's very easy to correct and make this broadcast safe via many different methods. If you go into match loudness, and you show this here, and if we go into EBU, yes, so you are correct, Cedric. So yeah, for Europe, anyone who's part of the EBU, the target loudness for broadcast, TV, and such, -23. If we go to the US here, -23. ATSC, I think, is -24. Yep. So that's where you'd be if this were going out to television and such, or just any kind of proper broadcast medium. Sorry, -24 for ITU. But in any case, so that would be easy enough to fix. And actually, you know, you could take this match loudness panel. One of the nice things is, now these are already fixed, mastered. So all it's really going to do is attenuate them. There's no sonic degradation going to happen. The mixes will still be loud and in your face, albeit kind of peaking in that within that, you know, -24 a loudness window. Again, these are LUFSs. It's not absolute. It's still averaging, right? And that's why you have that tolerance in your max peak levels set here. So, okay. So what else have we got over here? So this one, if we take a, again, like it's hot. It sounds good. What is actually the state of this one? Okay. Yeah. So again, we kind, you know, in terms of max RMS, really, these are the only two figures you want to pay attention to. And again, for music, you know, for iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, all that stuff, that minus 23, minus 24 is totally irrelevant because that's not how we mix, you know, records, albums, singles, and stuff. So you want it, again, you want it to be just as hot as possible. No clip samples, super hot on the max RMS, around -8. That's typically where you're going to find most album content. I was just listening to something by Vampire Weekend and happened to go on a nerd binge and analyze it, and it was around -8. And it was one of their older albums. But in any case, you know, mastering in the last couple years, couple years old, but has been pretty consistent in the last couple. Okay, so here, let's keep listening here. Well, actually, let's just go to the multi-track. I don't need to hear this from the mix down. So I've got that session open. Now, this was pretty basic. Now, again, this was Fred's track. This is what he gave to me. So this is kind of that whole groove that you're hearing. Send in there. And it changes a couple times too. So he did some dropouts and things, right? Oh, and then he even does some crazy, totally change the tempo and other things. And again, I'm reacting to all this as I was overdubbing. There's another one. And all those sounds that you're hearing on there, none of this is sequenced. Fred, so this whole thing, which is mixed, again, typically our workflow is he does his own stuff, hands me a mix of the bed, what's going to be underneath, and then I overdub on top live in single takes, as you can see here. He's got so many different sections, like it has all these different sections, the tempo changes, all this crazy stuff. So, and I hadn't even listened to it entirely when I did these overdubs, so I was reacting live. So again, a lot of that is cool. Some of that could probably be finessed in an edit just to kind of tighten things up. Diogo. Yeah, no, this is just referencing just loudness. Yeah, not talking about refresh rates and that stuff. Yeah, if we get into just start talking about video, I mean, they go in tandem, but yes, this is specifically just talking about the broadcast loudness measured in LUFS for audio. Hey Russ, what's up? So that's Fred's bed. That's that's kind of the foundation of this. And then the first thing that got added, I did drums over top of this. You know, again, just live, and you can see it's one single take here. There's no edit. There's no nothing. It's just one take. And I've got this drummer. And you hear it's got a little distortion in there. That's by design. There's without the drummer. You can see these drums are subbed in stereo. I used to have the actual rack versions of this drummer, so if anybody's into plugins and stuff here. Hey, what's up, Flo? Nice to see you. These are so good, these emulations of all this. So yeah, so I did drum overdubs. I added a little bass wah in there. Baker in there. Actually, there's a whole Ginger Baker section later. This is using the CLA Chris Lord Alge. What is this? I think it's just called bass. Yeah. You can really hear the wah pedal and a little bit of the noise that comes off of there. But again, you know, that's great. There's this new Japanese band that I got into called. Oh, am I gonna have to look? Oh, I'm just forgetting that. Glam Spanky. Ah, what are they called? Hold on. I gotta look real fast. How can I not remember the name? Or I can tell you how. Age. Glim Spanky. I was right. So here, I'll just show you what they look like. I got this on vinyl, and fantastic. Oh, what a great sounding piece of vinyl. In fact, here, I'll let you just hear just a second of this. Let's just click this on. So, and when I transfer vinyl, by the way, I was thinking of doing a stream about this. If anybody wants to see it, I don't know if anybody does, but just the process. I transfer all of my vinyl into Audition. I cut it up. I scan the covers. I add metadata, and I make albums so that I can, you know, listen on the road, whatever, via iTunes. I use Spotify for everything else, but I listen to my own vinyl, and I want to hear them digitally, so I do it here. So this is actually from the vinyl, and you'll hear the needle drop and everything even when I click play on this. Check it out. Oh, wait, sorry. Why is it? Oh, it's shuffling, that's why. Yeah. A little bit of crackles. I don't want to play too much because I don't want YouTube to flag that. But in any case, what was my point about this? Oh, yeah. So they've got this kind of, you know, very modern, but also slightly retro-y sound. And there's a couple tracks where you hear like just some gritty noise from either a wah pedal or a Wurlitzer electric piano or something. I love that stuff, you know, whereas I was listening to something just the other day and it was so darn clean. It was just, I mean, it was fine, but it's so, anybody who remembers mixing a couple years back, I mean, they're still around, but like old school Mackie mixers were amazing. They were tough as nails. I've got one sitting over here. Great construction, very clean preamps, almost too clinical. They used to sound, you know, if you could envision a dentist's office, but in the form of a mixing board, that's kind of what a lot of the 90s, early 2000 Mackies were like. They were just clean. So you always knew what you got. You had a clean signal, no noise, great gain staging. Just great, but like kind of just, yeah, like it had been wiped down with bleach, you know, like just too clean, like no flavor, you know? And so these days I found myself dirtying stuff up all the time, you know. My friend Elisa, who's in here, knows that I got some of that influence from her too. Just kind of, you know, grunge it up a bit. We spent the 90s trying to clean everything up. After that, now we're putting all the dirt and grit back in. All right. So this is kind of the bass with that. I don't know. Did I play this whole thing with a wah pedal? Classic. See, and I'm not even doing that much with this. A little bit of compression, a little bit of treble boost, a bit of bass, because obviously you sacrifice a little bit of bass range when using the wah pedal, which is cool. But again, you can kind of put that back in here. And then it's enabled, but I'm not even doing any. I had a little bit of sub, I think, initially, but it was kind of getting in the way. So I took that out. And it's really more kind of the feel of that. And then the last part was this Wurlitzer. Drumaton. Oh yeah, so Diogo, I did clean dirt. That's right, Chuck. I did check it out. Yeah. So very cool. Totally cool. stuff gets kind of weird and crazy. Let's hear what this whole thing's doing. Oh, see, that's nice. Like, this really punctuates. Made up on the fly, you know? So it has that kind of immediate, crazed kind of feel, which is perfect. Now this could be an opportunity to, like, this is the thing, like here, I could maybe fly the Wurlitzer around a bit. It feels like it needs, nothing's really playing a melody there. So I don't know whether it's some delay or does it need a melody? I don't know. Do you want to just hear the whole thing instead of these sections? Because they're all kind of different. Suddenly got very fast. Doesn't that just put you on edge? You got that Ginger Baker. Evil Cerise. Yeah, you won't be disappointed, man. My friend in Japan, he turned me on to it, and when I did my Jace's Places Tokyo, which is still the full version, still in the edit room. You know, we visited all these record shops in the Shibuya area, and that was a featured LP at one of the shops, and I bought it. I say sight unseen. I bought it sound unheard. I just looked at it and went, all right, how could this not be awesome? And it's awesome. And it's awesome pressed vinyl. Like, so good. A lot of the new stuff that's coming out on vinyl is really, really great. Like, it just sounds so freaking good. Also, a lot of the new stuff coming out on vinyl doesn't sound good because the people who are mixing it and or cutting it either, you know, I mean, I guess you can still learn how to do it now. Of course you can. But if you didn't do it back in the day and you don't really know, you know, there's all these things that you have to consider when you're making vinyl. You got to roll off certain frequencies, particularly towards the inner groove. You start rolling off specific things. You have to make decisions based on length and duration and again, frequency, content. So I find that a lot of the new releases, they're not mastered properly for vinyl because the people doing it they haven't done it long enough. Or maybe they have and they're burnt. I don't know. All vinyl is not the same, I guess is what I'm saying. So I've gotten some things recently that were clearly they took they took the Spotify mix and they just kind of tweaked it a little and threw it on vinyl. That doesn't work. It has to actually be mastered differently. Oh, nice, Leonardo. Thanks. Yeah, no, Fred and I, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay, so like even right there, it doesn't quite punctuate, but like that Wurlitzer should be. You know, and you can even see like I don't do one drop at all. This needs to be fixed because this should ultimately drop out a little bit. do this little like coda. Forgot my reverb send. What do you think about that? Such a great Wurlitzer, and that's Native Instruments. That's their Wurlitzer 200A electric piano. I'm a huge NI fan. That's all my soft synths are NI. So, this one, it needs, I think it needs some, well, what do you think? If you feel so inclined to chat, what do you think? Does it need more music? Does it need more lead? It's 5.5 minutes. I don't want to put you through having to listen to the whole thing just as it is, but, I don't know, maybe just some in and out with this could probably do some magic. Might just be enough. Maybe not. Okay, so that's one that I know I want to work on. Wow, how long have we been streaming already? How long has this been going? 14 minutes? Oh, no, that can't be right. What? That can't be right. It's 25 minutes-ish. Why does that say 14? I'm very confused. Okay, well, your silence says it all. So, okay, so let's go back to this. There were two in particular that I wanted to work on. Let me just drop the master fader here. Oh, it's already dropped. Okay. Ah, Baboon Blues. That was another one. Okay, I wanted to look at that. 27 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why the YouTube was reporting 14. I'm like, did I just enter the space-time continuum? Thank you, Leonardo. Evil Cerise. It should, if I had gotten my act together, it would, you'd already be able to listen to it on Spotify and everywhere. So if you can be patient, otherwise I could send it to you. This is like a transitional piece, this one. This one is also done. Fetmar Zifuyang. So this one, there's a music video for this too. This one's got some of the Moog synths and stuff in there. And this one, yeah, this is done. And some of you have heard this. Let me play a couple seconds of this. This one's real pretty. This is one of my favorites. I'm trying to debate which song will be the opener. Initially, I thought it was going to be 21. But this one kind of has a cool vibe too, and it's happens to feature Fred on the Chinese hammer dulcimer Yang Qin, for which he is a true certified dulcimer master. But take a quick listen to this. This one's cool. This is a fave of mine. really wanted to do was bring on the... so does anybody in the chat, anybody remember the Echoplex? Anybody remember the Echoplex? Hold on, I might be able to... where did I do an Echoplex thing? I have an example of what that is. Oh, you like that one? Okay. Give me a second. Play this for a second. I've got a Behance project where I let you hear the Echoplex tape delay. I don't remember where it is. Got so much space. It's real flowy, right? It's got a real nice flow and feel. Ooh, nice drum part there. Little flam right there. So that's nicely done. That is cooked and ready. Okay. Free Berkeley. So this is another one that I marked as done. I don't know if it really is done though. I try and do some weird crossfade here. Why did I do that? Anyway, so that link that I just put in the chat, so an Echoplex, which is in this closet behind me, is a classic 60s, early 70s tape delay unit. The later editions, I mean, I think they all had the same, but certainly Mark II Echoplex and beyond, later they were made by a company called the Maestro Echoplex, or that may have been the original, I'm forgetting. They have a continuous tape cartridge that is effectively a tape loop, and it's a very big, very heavy, very like smelly old piece of gear with that Tolex covering, and it's loud and smells in a good way. But it creates that very classic late 60s, early 70s echo tape delay feeding back on oneself, and it's really cool. One never finishes art, one abandons it. So true, Chuck. And if you hear that pluck string in there, that's Fred playing one of his many lutes. He's a lute player as well. staccatos, also native instruments, of course. See these kind of quiet creep sections? Goes back to the head. That one, I guess, is done. Monkey brain. Yeah, see now, Monkey Brain, this one only has bass and drum overdubs because Fred's doing a whole bunch of really weird stuff in his bed. So I don't know if this needs more. Is that, a sample, or is that me? Yeah, that's me. So curiously, and I don't have it plugged in, that drive. In the Loopology collection of loops that we offer, that Adobe offers, that you can have with, you can use with Audition and Premiere, or any NLE or DAW for that matter. I had recorded a whole series of loops and samples from classic Mellotron, which was a tape-based sampler. Again, late 60s device, made it all through the 70s. Prog rock, yes, and Genesis, and I mean, so many people used it. Countless. Wings, I mean. Anyway, and among these samples, the Echoplex samples, the Mellotron samples were, they all had this one characteristic, was that they, because of the nature of the device, actually a tape, again, this kind of tape that would loop, and you'd have about 8 seconds, and then you'd have to depress again, and it would reset, and the capstan would move forward and would play again. The tapes would often get a bit warbly and a bit crummy sounding after a very brief period of time. But they had these really neat collections of samples. It was the first sampler, effectively. And they're in the Loopology collection, these like 30s, it sounds like male choirs and like singers from the 30s and 40s. I mean, it was probably recorded in the 60s, or they just took them off of reels. I have no idea who sourced these things. But there were all these like weird, creepy sounding kind of male vocals, and very, very sort of tenory and baritone. And when I was working on that track, I didn't have, for whatever reason, I didn't have access to the samples, and I'd have to retune them and everything anyway. And this wasn't played to, I'm not using like a loop engine here, so I just thought I would re-sing them live. And that's what that is. But it sounds like that though, right? It sounds, you wouldn't know it sounds like a sample almost. And I EQ'd them to sound also a little creepier. You know, here's a musical tip. If you want to sound like, 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And by that, I mean sort of recording wise, the way people sing differently today. Sing differently today than they did 10, 15 years ago, than they did 20, 30 years ago, than they did certainly 70 something years ago. And why am I forgetting his name? Classic cowboy singer. Help me. He sang the song that the Doors based Riders on the Storm off of, and I can see him. His name wasn't, what was his name? Not Vern. Anyway, a lot of the singers, especially in that era, they all kind of, it's here. And if you add a lot of fast vibrato, you can get a very authentic sound. And then, hold on, I'll show you right now. Couple that with a little bit of reverb. I'll show you. And you can really make it sound, pretty authentic pretty quickly. Let's do a hall. Sorry, not that. Great hall. And let's see. Okay. You really, it doesn't take much. Does not take much at all. Why am I forgetting his name? Not Stan Jones, not Johnny Cash. A little bit later. These are earlier. What is his name? Ah, he sang Christmas songs too, and a lot of cowboy. It's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway, that's an easy way to fake that. By the way, happy to speak through a little reverb if you want. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have to wait a minute. I need to know. Hold on. I need to go back to my. This is how nuts I am with this. Sometimes the mind, you know. Albums. Okay, it's gonna come to me. It'll probably come to me before it comes to me. Doesn't make any sense. Before I find it, hold on. I know I have him singing in some holiday collection or something. What the heck? What? No. Vaughn Monroe. Thank you. And Burl Ives and Gene Autry. Now, they had a different style of singing, but they fall into that similar era. And if you listen to earlier stuff, particularly by, I mean, Gene Autry, again, it's more country. But Vaughn Monroe, yes, you know, I can't fake any of his songs. I can't think of them. But even like when he sang "Let It Snow," you know, it's the era. You know, first of all, things were like, I mean, what year is "Let It Snow"? It's got to be the 40s. Yeah, 1945. So there was, I mean, jazz existed, of course. Jazz had already been around 25-ish years, but you're kind of coming out of big band and going into bop, early bop at that point. And when you'd hear like jazz singers and sort of singers, crooners of that era, you know, everything was like in time. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. There wasn't any like elongating. They didn't do any of that, you know. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. You know, there's a classic cartoon with Bing Crosby. He always used to talk about, well, you know, it's all in how you drop your voice, you know. Probably why I do some of that. I'm always dropping my voice. Maybe it was inspired by Bing. Maybe not. Probably not. But, so that's where that came from. That was a very long freaking explanation. All right, I'm certifiable. But I found it. I found it. All right, let's get back to business. Okay. So I don't think we're going to worry about that. Oh yeah, some monkey brain. Now this one is just basically is groove, you know? So like groove is fine. Tra-la-la-la-la. Right, exactly, Leonardo. It's so it's funny because just before I was always in the mornings, I do glad we talked about that. I know, I'm glad I could waste like 25 minutes talking about my Vaughn Monroe voice. But if I can't, here, you know what? This is the fun of live stream because, hold on. Let's make a little adjustment here. Plug in some drives. Just gonna show you what I mean. Oh, by the way, t-shirt today. Classic Star Wars movie poster. All right. Thanks, Des. I wasted an enormous amount of time talking about that. That's all I can say. Like way too much time. Okay. Lubology. Oh, that's a good question. Where the heck are those sounds? Choir. I think these are like kid choirs. Yeah, that's not the right one. Not kids, but I mean high-pitched choirs. Okay. Where is this stuff? Choir E minor. This could be it. Let's see. No. I don't even remember what they're called, so that's going to be good for searching. Good one there. Where would these things be? Techno and dance, would I have put it in there for some reason? Mellotron choirs. Pfft. That's how my mind worked in those days. Great, more time wasting XD. Nice. All right, so here's what I was talking about. Oh, no, not okay. So some of these are mixed. Wait till we get, I think the male. Oh, here it is. See, I did name them appropriately. Mellotron tenor. So these are the actual Mellotron samples. And I say samples, actual Mellotron tape loops that I recorded and resampled later. I don't even remember when I did these recordings. Years and years ago. Probably too long ago. See? And it's a loop, so. Yeah, I mean, it's, it's very easy to fake that. It was so creepy. So, of course, they're mono. You can hear some of the variations. And if you look at the loopology files, if anybody downloads those or wants to, whenever I have like a 1A or something, typically it's a variation. And a lot of times I would do some kind of stereo, mono reprocessed for stereo kind of thing where, here's the mono. And there's like a stereo version just processed with a little reverb. Anyway, that's what inspired that vocal sound in that track. Oh boy. All right. So Monkey Brain, it's just groove, doesn't really have any melody. Now Toad, okay, this was another one that I know I'm pretty sure I needed to do possible overdubs on. So let's take a quick listen to this. Or maybe not. This one had electric piano. That was a nice little synth swell in there. Kind of forgot about that. And see, like that sort of abrupt cutoff of the synth? Yes, it's edgy. It's uneasy. It's unexpected. Would I trail that off with some delay or reverb? Yes, many times. For something like this, I mean, it almost seems appropriate that it just kind of cuts out. So let's open up that session. See what we've got in there. So it's Toad. So there's 11 tracks total for this. And oh yeah, so this has got this is another one where he had some somewhat dramatic changes in tempo. So there's a couple of different sections. So you can see here. So here's his original. Again, this is the bed. And then overdubbed some drums on that. Now what's kind of amazing, if you notice, I have no effects, nothing on these drums at all. I don't even have a compressor on them, nothing. So that's just clean against his original track, which, did I EQ this? I must have. Must have EQ'd this a little. Nothing. No EQ? Excuse me, that's shocking. Shocking. got some dynamics processor on this one, but no EQ here. Okay. And added some Rhodes to this. The Rhodes is kind of quiet and creepy. What's up, Chris Georginas? Nice to see you, man. So this one, I've got two of my all-time faves. DBX 160, of which I own the actual hardware version of this, and this is so identical to what it sounds like, it's not even funny. And the Abbey Road studio plates in there. What's up, man? It's kind of nice, actually. I didn't even notice that before. So this ice synth, I was playing that through the other station there where I have the NI VSTIs, and you can hear I'm doing some kind of filter sweep there and kind of changing the characteristic of the sample. Which is kind of nice. Sorry, that should have been up the whole time, sorry. So this Valley Dynamite also had the proper hardware, this one too. It's kind of, I'm over compressing a bit, limiting actually, but very snappy. We may dial this in later or not. I was shocked to see that I didn't have anything on there. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no, they're clean and raw. There's nothing pre-mixed down. I mean, not even any reverb or anything. You can hear how that doom, 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 doom. I mean, it really just like, you know. And Chris, those of you, I know many of you know Keyframer. He streams regularly for us on the Adobe Twitch channel. Amazing Adobe Animate animator, illustrator, cartoonist. I still owe him a theme song. But, you know, sometimes, again, like with something like this, I'm wondering, it might be nice to have these kind of real poppy and snappy, and again, slightly over-processed, you know? I don't stress over, if anything now, having access to all of these, like, you know, analog digital recreations. Part of their sound was kind of that they would overdo things, you know? A classic use of 1176 limiting, commonly used on a lot of British records, namely Ringo's drums, was that it was like this kind of thumpy, pumpy kind of thing. And exactly, it's a nice contrast against the other more processed sounds. So it depends. Like, I think it sounds kind of nice, clean, but it could also work with the effect. We'll just have to see. I'm still very shocked that these have nothing. see, for this, there's a lot of bass stuff going on here. Now, I don't even have a bass. Did I record? No, I recorded Collab. And I remember this. This is like a crazy electric distorted wah clavinet solo. And a lot of that bass is coming right from here, and you can actually see it. You can see it with it not even playing. There's a lot of like 100, 150, and you know that's where I'm going to need EQ here because it's just occupying too much space. Sounds awesome, and I want to actually leverage a lot of that because there's no bass here. Do I even need bass? Yeah, it does have kind of that Luke Cage. Speaking of, is that coming back? Oh, Chris. Okay, good. No rush. I know. I tend to dream songs, theme songs, melodies. So I've got my, okay, this is the Butt Nana and Saucy theme song recorded in here. I just haven't laid it down yet, but it's in there. You see, actually, it's okay. It's not bad, like frequency-wise. So I'm going to tack a little bit at around I'm getting like 177 hertz-ish. You'll hear I'm going to boost a little bit of that and kind of take a little bit of the low mid mud edge off of it. And I might even roll off some of these highs, to be honest. There's a lot of nice highs in there. Me too, Chris. I'm definitely 12. That's too much. You know, I want the air in there, but I don't want it to get in the way. Coming right there. Of course, it changes as the parts that I'm playing, but I think that's going to be okay. Let's hear that with the drums. Now this, I might take off a little bit of that, a little bit of brightness. Hey, Leon, what's up? Okay, so what I just did there, 7,700 hertz. That's, you know, the cymbals in this case were pretty bright. So I love that, but that takes up, particularly because I'm riding, that's occupying a lot of that space. And there's probably quite a bit of that in these tracks too. So the drums, you know, they don't really need it so much. That's not like a a key fundamental. The fundamentals are a bit lower, and you're still going to get the airiness and brightness of the and the resonance of the cymbal, but just taking a little bit, again, a 2.5 dB attenuation with a bandwidth of 4. You can see it's fairly narrow, not super narrow, just kind of, probably touching a little bit of 6K-ish, so kind of some of that, think like sibilance, and then a little bit of the 8 and 9K where you can, that's presence, but again, you might want to make some space. It's not gonna affect the overall sound in the mix, and if anything, it'll just kind of make it glue together a little bit more, which is kind of nice. By the way, that beat that I'm playing right there, Georginas, you might remember this. There's a song by Paul McCartney from his Tug of War album called "Take It Away." It's "Take it away, don't you wanna play till the lights go down." Ringo actually played on this. It was a 1982 album. I think it's Ringo and Jim Keltner. And the drum beat is boom 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 boom. Got a straight beat with a ride cymbal, but he's doing this kind of off time thing with the toms. That's what that is right there. Take it away, wanna hear you play till the lights go down. That's what that's what that beat is right there. We do borrow beats from others, right? All right, so let's hear this whole mess as it is right now. Oh, and then there's saxes at the end here. Forgot about that. Okay, did you see that? Just pegging right there. So loud. These are quite bright also. A lot of treble on there. I think I was just trying to make those pop out, but that was pretty bright. Ginger Baker influence there, Chris. We talked about that influences for drama. Yeah, so I am definitely Ginger, in no particular order. Ginger, Ringo, a little bit of Keith Moon, a little bit of John Densmore. Those are definitely the 4. I had to say like 4 that are most of the styles that I play in and around based on those 4 drummers. There's also a lot of nice warmth in this Rhodes, which I do have some EQ applied here. There's a lot. Now I'm wondering, there's a lot of sub on this. There's like a crazy amount of sub on this. So I'm wondering if I should just do a high pass. Although it kind of works, but he's got, clearly it was most likely probably a Turkish frame drum that he recorded and then slowed down. Hold on, I got a little spot on my lens. This is off topic for a second, but this is one of the greatest purchases I've ever made. Carry it with me all the time. This is called the Lens Pen. I don't know if you can see the name on there. It's recommended to me by Terry White. It's got retractable brush. Let's see it on my forehead. On one side. to clean the lens. And then it has like this sort of felty suction cup thing. So if you have like a smudge, you can get it off. But hold on, I see I've got some dust on here, so I'm just gonna clean the lens. Do you come by here often? Right. Perfect. Lens pen. All right. So let me see. Let's see what happens if we roll off all the sub on this. Let's do 36 dB per octave. Let's do a 96 dB range. Let's see. Well, let's start it kind of high. I'm gonna go up to like 60. That's way above sub, by the way. I want to kind of. I'll start at 60 and then roll back and see what we're giving up. Incidentally, that's also a good little technique if you're trying to, by design, if you're not if you're trying to do a sweep, that's a different thing. But if you're actually trying to cut to high pass low frequency that's getting in the way, start a little bit higher in frequency and then roll back so that you can really hear what you're giving up. So now there's no bass at all, right? No bass frequency. So we'll start bringing it back in. And let's take it off. So do you hear it? It's actually like, it's rumbling. So, I don't really know, I don't know if that's necessary. It's not too over. In other words, it's not totally in the way. It's not ruining the master, but I think things would be a little cleaner. And by the way, we're not using any kind of, track spacer, auto ducker, frequency ducker, or anything like that. So, which I could, in like a side chain kind of way, but this is merely just carving out some space. And these beds that Fred gives me are sometimes so complex that it's a challenge. And this can all be automated, by the way. I could start rolling it off and then bring it back in and then do whatever. And now ASMR with me cleaning with it. Yeah, oh yes. Do you remember that we got into that on the Twitch stream a while back? On the Twitch, the stream followed that, by the way. I wasn't doing my parents on the YouTube. Doing ASMR. All right, hold on. Where did it go? Oh, I'm here. Okay, I'm gonna kick this in. Take a listen. Okay, so listen, you can really hear it now. So I'll start with it off, and you can hear there's a lot of rumble. Kick this in now and again. I'm attenuating a little bit at 260. Got a little bit of mud in there. A lot of complex stuff. And clearly, this is of course a byproduct of you slow things down. In this case, a higher pitched drum. Well, if you slow it down, if you resample it, That's giving you the pitch is lowered, the waveform is thus longer. You're going to accentuate that low range, but more importantly, because you're also resampling, it's almost like how can I put this? It's more so than if you had obviously played slower or slowed it down, maintaining the same pitch, because it's resampling, it's dropping the pitch as well. This isn't a time shift preserving the pitch. He actually resampled, so the pitch of the drum went down. So you're actually accentuating a lot of the other frequencies that were probably already there, are now lower. So it's naturally going to kind of cloud things a little bit. Again, not a huge amount, just about a dB and a half, 1.8, kind of just above that muddy range. And you could hear it, right? You could hear how it was just a little too much. Might even take a little bit more of those high mids out. But I'll start with it off and then I'll kick it in and you'll hear what it's doing. Yeah, it's just a bit too much. So I think that's perfect. And here, now this, I'm trying to remember what happens here because I don't even fade this out. Okay, it goes right into, and in fact I have it. You can see I've got another instance of it here, which was Fred had given me a processed version. I'm just going to do a little clean fade out just so that you don't get a click at the end there. Oh, actually still getting a click. Let's fade that a little bit more. Like that. Here. Let's see how that sounds now. Oh, that's too much. Okay. And what I might do... Yep, that I think that'll actually do it. Now you can see this one here, Toad processed. So this is a totally different sound. This has already been EQ'd. Oh, hey Amber, how are you doing? Amber Lee, thank you for joining. This one is a totally different process sound, already EQ'd. Sounds like he already rolled off all the sub. You can see it here, right? There's nothing compared to here. Listen to this. Here's the no EQ. And then this is the same exact file, but he processed it. So it sounds like he's notching like, 2 to 7K and, cutting a little bit of 2 to 300 and then just did some kind of high pass, probably at around 100, and just kind of rolled that stuff off, although not as aggressively as I did here, which was like at 48 dB per octave. He probably did it at 24. And again, you can see it. So this one doesn't really need, I don't think this really needs any EQ here. All right, I'm gonna save this as 2. Song's getting a little buzzy for me right now, to be honest. All right. But definitely made some progress there. All right. The clav, that's all fine. I think that's just got some analog delay on it. Let's listen to the dry. This is pretty aggressive. It's not a great solo, by the way. Meant to be kind of noisy and a bit, it's a bit more on the ambient side of things. I've noticed that whenever I'm listening back to something that I recorded with the wah pedal, I tend to, as I'm... Amber, do you ever do that? I know you're gigging. Someone in your band's got to use a wah pedal occasionally. Do they ever? Do you ever find yourself like wahing the sound? I don't know. You see, this could kind of be nice, actually. I mean, I could really drop everything out here. You can see this little solo, clav solo. It's from 1:05 until 2:10. So it's a minute, you know. So there could absolutely be a dropout. I knew it. I knew I wasn't alone. Drop. I don't know, that might sound weird, but let's do a dropout. I just want to see if that's going to sound really... So this is meant to be abrupt here, but I just want to see if it's going to work at all. It really might not. Just come up back to 0, kind of crescendo right there. Maybe drop it out sooner. Drop this too. I kind of like I think I'm going to drop this here. To go to right there, drop that out. drop it down, and then like a very slow fade up. Let's hear that again. Let's see if that sounds all right. Yeah? Oh, sweet. Said it. Cool. I don't know. Let me hear what it sounds like without the clav. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just drop it right there. So we'll just keep this kind of going down. Much nicer, right? All right, let's hear the solo. I want to hear this section, see if this works, and you tell me if you think that the main drums need to come out a little sooner. There's so much, there's a lot of dissonance, you know, a lot of dissonance, but that's okay. That's, you know, dissonance is cool. That needs to crescendo a little there. I like that. I'm hearing it. I'm going, ooh, what is that creepy buzz? We want that. Bzz. Tell I'm playing with the filter sweep. For this kind sound, what should I search for? Good question. You know, I think the last collab that we did, it was under like ambient trance. You know, the previous one was called Music to Design By, so it's meant to be like background working music anyway. Yeah, because it's not really trance per se. I mean, it is in bits when there's pure groove. It's definitely ambient because it's a lot of pads and a lot of like long, elongated things. The genre is called Jesa sound, yeah. So I'm not sure. Probably trance and ambient, you know. With a little artistic license here and there. Stylistic license, I should say. creepy. Okay. Joy Division-esque upbeat ambient music. Yep. Oh, yes. Chill. Thank you. Yes. And that actually is very excellent. Thank you, Amberly. Yeah, that's so normally when I've like tagged, in fact, I think the last video from that first tune, the slow one, 21, that was tagged chill as well. So yes, definitely chill. Right. That's it. Yeah, like this one here. This is totally in the chill genre. Right? Because it's slow. And they're cool sounds, right? I mean, I guess the one thing I like about you're not a fan of the saxes. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I like it because it's annoying. Fred didn't love them either. I told him, you know, it's kind of an homage to Fela Kuti. Maybe they just need to be a lot quieter because they are pretty abrupt. Very buzzy and loud. We'll see. We'll keep him at -9.9. But yes, chill. That's great. Chill, ambient, trance. Okay. So let's do. Oh, it's almost 1:30 for me, and I'm gonna go. I need to go and grab some lunch here. But one last thing, I just wanted to check on this. So that was the form one. Okay, hold on. Back to our assembly here. What's this one? Oh, right. So this is here. So I want you to just listen to this. I can't remember. I don't think this one has... I don't think I did a music video for this, but I want you to listen to this one and tell me what you think. I'm going to run to the restroom real fast. In the meantime, listen to this, and when I come back, tell me what you think. If this needs overdubs, if it needs anything. All right. So take a listen to this. I'll be right back. Favorite part. This is my this feels very very Doors to me, right? Like the electric piano style, the groove, the beat right there. have to move that last kick drum. So a couple of these, I did these long outros. The first album, all of the songs crossfaded into one another. They won't with this one, they'll be separate, but I think I was thinking that way, and that's why I did those. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so that one, I mean, you know, it's crazy. So this was where I remember, and Cedric, I think you were on the stream when I was doing this one. This Fred's whole music bed that he gave me for this one is this. That's it. There's no melody, there's no key, there's no anything. I don't even know what the heck that is. And from that, you know, I started to build up, you know, what you heard there. So there's a nice little double use of 2 drum sets, 70s style there. So I've got the electronic played drums. And then you've got the acoustic drums. And this is a nice one where, like, you can really hear, again, the processing here. So this has got, again, Dynamite on here, which is just sticks it. And then I also stuck this IM pusher stereo to really increase the output. So here's with nothing. Still sounds good, just sounds small. But let's kick in the effects. Yeah, I think this one's done, right? Oh, and I wanted to fix that last kick. I think it's just a little off. It comes in, you know, again, live played, so I just... I came in a little too soon. Yeah. Yeah, it happens before. Let me see if that's going to throw it off. That's cool. All right. So I hit the R here. I think Audition is the only app among the Adobe apps where R is for the razor tool, which makes sense, I guess, but it still seems a little odd. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, see, no, you can't do that because now it sounds out of time. Shit. Okay, better idea. Let's cut this R. Since these look more even. I'm not going to do any crossfade on this. And with that, my friends, I think I'm going to leave you and go get some lunch. So, hey, thank you so much for joining me for the last hour and 36 minutes or so. Great to see you all here. And hey, what's up, Cutman? DJ Cutman. Had one of the best streams ever doing Twitch with DJ Cutman. Very inspirational. Super mixer, super mastering engineer too. Fantastic. Great stuff. Learned a lot. Taught me a lot. Also taught me a lot about YouTube. In any case, all right, I may pop on later today. I'm going to try and finish some of this up. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you, some of you, hopefully, tomorrow on the Premiere Pro Facebook page. I'll be talking about leveraging time remapping and slow motion techniques. About 15 to 25 minutes-ish on those, so you can join us on the Premiere Pro Facebook page. At 1 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be there. And thanks again for everyone's help in helping me finish up these mixes, and I will talk to you again very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.